So this is another more Israel-focused brand. It's just what I happen to have been working with lately. We're going to get into e-commerce. I don't think too many of you said you were e-commerce, but we'll talk about different things. And here, this website gets it halfway. Okay, now they pull me in with a very interesting title, assuming I'm that type of user: Rebuild the Next Generation in Israel's Heartland. And it has a compelling picture, cute kids, a horse. It seems interesting. But then wait a second. What in the world does that mean? What rebuild the next generation in Israel Heartland? What is this website offering me? How am I doing that? How am I rebuilding? I see help children now. I see a brighter future for children in Israel. But who are these children, besides for the fact that they're Israeli? And how are we rebuilding them? And what does that even mean, rebuilding them? So this website, I think, looks much nicer. And you could be fooled into thinking this is a good website. But in that first 2 seconds, when I'm looking at a whole bunch of whatever, it doesn't explain to me enough to keep me on the page, right? Even the next content is all of a sudden small text. It's not small text without like headlines. So it nails the first one. It pulls in my attention, but it fails to follow up. It doesn't tell me what I'm doing. And it kind of teaches me what to take action. There's a button here that says Help Children Now. There's a button here, which clearly is connected to the next section. It's not necessarily offering me enough. So this is a website that made it further, but not all the way there. So I'm going to also show you what we did with this website. So we took this website, and first of all, here's like another version of the homepage, which we took this image instead. So we flipped the image around, and this enabled us to put text more where your eye would first focus, because English is read from left to right. And instead of saying rebuild homeland something, we say help a child suffering from the trauma of terror attack, right? And now it's much, much more clear to me what I'm getting on this website. I'm getting the opportunity to help a child who is suffering from terror attack. Now, we did lose a little bit of the edge, right? We lost rebuild a child, homeland, whatever. And I think the perfect website would better combine these. The client specifically wanted people to watch Dennis Prager's endorsement of the organization. So we kind of had to adjust towards that. But I come to this website and I get the inspiration of the kids playing. I get an inspiration if I'm connected to Israel and the terrorism that's happened in Israel. And I'm much more clear on what this website is offering me. It's the opportunity to help children specifically who have been affected by terrorism and terror attacks. Okay. Okay. Now, if any of you are thinking, what about mobile, right? These are all desktop, and Google has told us over and over again that mobile is where most of your users are coming from. So while this website, we said, made it halfway there and was half a success, when it comes to mobile, it's back to being an F. It's a real garbage mobile website. Because think of the principles we just spoke about. We spoke about giving clarity, giving excitement, and then giving the third thing was a call to action. And this website flips it on its head. It gives me a very clear call to action, but it hasn't clearly given me any direction on why I would help children now. Who are the children? How am I helping them? This button gets pushed higher onto the page, which doesn't make any sense. This rebuild the next generation in Israel's heartland gets pushed down, which is what I really need to see first and foremost is that inspirational pulling me in. It's made smaller. The menu is now unaligned. And this hot mess at the top is just terrible. Please like us on Facebook. I don't want, if you're on my website, the last place I want you going is my Facebook page. Because on Facebook, there's 100 distractions. There's 100 other things you can go and click on. If I got you to come to my website where I have control over what you see, the last place I want you going is my Facebook page. And then there's just all these other languages, like this could be turned into a dropdown and not take up 20% of that first view on the phone. So more important than your desktop, I showed desktop because it's really easy to visualize with those big screens. But more importantly is your mobile and making sure that your mobile hits that 1, 2, 3. Pull them in, explain what you do really clearly and what they're going to get, and give them a call to action. So here's, if you remember, we redesigned the site, and here's the redesigned mobile section, which again, I admit is not perfect, but again, we get that clear headline, first and foremost, help a child suffering from trauma of terror. More clarification, you're going to donate to us. That's how you can connect. That's how you can help a child, and a clear to action of watching this video. Here's a side project I'm working on that I think is even clearer. Right here, my eye can't really go anywhere besides for this giant headline here. Parenting doesn't come with an instruction manual. So for the parents out there, I hope that line resonates with you. And then I tell you exactly what you're getting. The parent course is a video series to help you understand, connect, and direct your teenager. And even that could be a little bit more clear. There's a video and a big button, start learning for free. So that's the first part of my presentation, is to look at your website and to make sure that it's doing these three things. It's pulling the person in, it's explaining exactly how you can help, and it's telling them what they can do to next take action. Okay, any questions? Anyone listening? Anyone there?
We're here.
Okay.
Doing great, John.
All right. So the next part that I want to talk about is called Don't Use Your Brain. And your users are already telling you what to do. And this is something I run into clients with over and over and over again, is they think they're the biggest genius in their industry and they know exactly what they want, what their users want, how the website should look, what widgets should go on the website, and the answer to all these that I say all the time, I said, you might be a genius, I might be a genius, but the fact is neither one of us are genius enough to be able to read the minds of your users. And your users, the people coming to your website, are already telling you what they want. So I want to go through a few examples of this. This is that same customer. He has a content-focused website. I didn't do this. I don't like it. We're redoing this site. And he said, Jonathan, for the navigation on the new site, people come and they want to learn about, let's say, the book of Joshua. Are they searching or are they using our drop downs? Like sorry, he didn't say it like that. He said, should we just have search? Should we just have the drop downs? He wants to make the website cleaner and more minimal. He says, what do you think people use more? And I said, I don't care what I think. I don't care what you think. I said, let's look at the data. So we installed something called a heat map on his site, which shows through these different, we track users and we measure where they click, and it creates this visual heat map of where people are clicking. And we saw that very clearly more people were using the drop downs looking for specific chapters and verses inside the Bible than searching for just the term Joshua or Egypt or whatever. And now when we rebuild the website, we can do it not from our own brains, but from the brains of our users, from what they're already looking for, okay? So this is an important tool to be doing. And I wanna go through two more examples of not trying to think that you know what your users want, but instead listening to them tell you what they want. 1 second. Okay. The other thing I want to point out here is not only does this help us redesign the site, but it shows us that people are looking for specific verses. They're not necessarily looking for topics, right? Because topics I would use search. They're looking for specific parts of the Bible. And data like this will also, instead, you see here underneath it says explore inspiring content, and we have different articles. This now we are going to rethink because we see people aren't looking for, Seder, I don't know exactly what these things are, but Seder melodies. So someone made a post about Haggadah, someone made a post about Echad Yodea, and we see that that's not how users are using our site. They want to see Genesis 1:1. And when they get to Genesis 1:1, then we can present them with content about Genesis 1:1. So looking at what your users are doing, absolutely critical to having a successful website. This is a crowdfunding platform, which have become very, very popular in the Jewish community. And this is an organization in, I don't know why today's so focused on nonprofits. I guess just during Corona, that was kind of what everyone was talking about. So these are the websites I've worked on lately. This is an organization in Jerusalem which helps homeless people or people who don't have enough food to, for basic necessities. And we built them this crowdfunding platform. If you've heard of things like CauseMatch or GoFundMe or things like that, they either charge your donors a percentage or they charge the organization a percentage. So we rebuilt this from scratch so that the organization didn't have to pay a percentage to the platform, and it doesn't say CauseMatch on it, it doesn't say any of that stuff. It's all with their branding, it's on their domain name, it's their colors, it's their everything. And I'll show you another advantage. So this is one page we built. And this was the main page we used over Passover. We had our first goal of $300,000. We came pretty close to our bonus round of $400,000. And when I looked at this page, I said, I want to see if there's too many things going on here, right? Because I looked at this and I said, maybe we simplify it. And we rebuilt the entire page like this. Ignore this top section, that's just in the slide. The page really starts from where this picture of the matzah starts, matzah. And instead of having like so much numbers and widgets, we tried making it push all that stuff farther down, and at the top just have a big button called Hear Harvey's Story, which was the video. That's this video, this is Harvey, and a button that will, like, it scrolls with you that says Donate Here. And we found something fascinating, okay? This is the person's Google Analytics. If you're not using Google Analytics, you need to be using Google Analytics. Maybe we could have a follow-up Zoom call about that if some of you are intimidated or confused by Google Analytics. But I want to zoom in on one page here. And these are the two numbers when we sent a similar amount of traffic to each one of these two pages, right? This is page A, this is page B. They have all the same features, it's just a different order. The numbers, right now the campaign's over, but all these numbers were synced. And if you made a donation on one, it would show up on both. The technology was flawless. And we saw something fascinating. On the first version, which here's the bottom one, so the one with that looked more busy, this one, brought in 34 donations for a total of $3,533. And the more minimal one brought in almost the same amount of donations, but less than half the revenue, okay? And we see here, I think this is a mistake. Yeah, this is 34. Okay, I got the numbers here backwards. Sorry about that. But this page over on the right brought in 34 donations with an average donation of $103. And the more minimal one brought in 31 donations, 10% less donations, which is margin of error, but half average donation. So imagine if you're a website, you're a service provider, and you have a thing that costs $500 and you have a thing that costs $1,000. And just by moving the things on your website around and reorganizing it, you turn the typical buyer from buying the $500 product to buying the $1,000 product. It would be game changing for your business. Absolutely game changing, double the amount of revenue. So what did we see here? Well, we drilled down into the analytics and we found, I'm simplifying this a lot, but we found that the big thumbnail was causing more people to relate to the story and therefore make bigger donations because they brought in about the same amount of donations, right? The conversion rate on the page was relatively similar, but the emotional attachment was much stronger the more we got people looking at that thumbnail and looking at the video, which was far more in your face than this button that says Hear Harvey's Story.
Jonathan, can I just say, could you look throughout this over the next 5 minutes?
Wrap up in the next 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm actually going to skip the next part of my presentation. So the one thing I wanted to make, whoops, sorry about that. The one thing I wanted to make sure to do, which I thought would be fun, is the same way we looked at some of these websites and pointed out some of the mistakes they're making. If anyone wants, they can put their website, I'm putting my neck on the line here, and we'll do some instant 30-second audits. If anyone wants to throw their domain name into the chat, I will pull it up and we can see if you're succeeding at our steps 1, 2, and 3.
Someone
and
said you in
I
the
see
chat
I got
section.
one taker so far. Okay, so we have here Israel at last. Well, this looks kind of like a portal page to another page. Let's try like this. Okay, so you guys can still see my screen, right? I didn't turn that off. Okay, so all right, so this is on the spot, but let's see what we can do. Okay, we have Israel at last. Your financial peace of mind in Israel at last. So, all right. So first of all, the first thing you want to do is manage your pop-ups, because I am just getting into your website and already I'm hit with a pop-up, which doesn't even excite me to join. Why am I joining your mailing list? What am I getting on your mailing list? The way you want to trigger a pop-up is if I start to leave the website, then you want to hit me with your pop-up. But while I'm still consuming the website, you don't want to bother me with a pop-up, especially a pop-up like that, which gives me no context and no inspiration to sign up or even clarity on what I get with your mailing list. So I'm sure you've seen sometimes when your mouse starts to leave, you get a pop-up. That's where you want to put up that's when you want really the main time you want to have a pop-up, and you want to have a lot more clarity around it. Okay. Here, I think you're doing number 1 and number 3 really well. You're giving me something exciting, financial peace of mind. Who doesn't want that? You're even following up, even in Israel, where people are struggling with money, and you're giving me a pretty clear call to action. Okay. But the step 2, to me, I think could be clearer. I bet if I read this part where it says making Aliyah as a dream, I bet I would have more clarity. But this is already getting the person to really commit, because you hit them with something exciting, and then this sentence is kind of like, it's too small, it's too long. This second step needs to be incorporated into your exciting part at the top here in a more fluid way. To be honest, now that I am reading it, it doesn't even, like maybe these last few words, investment and real estate, but it's saying Aliyah is difficult, financial system is confusing, language is confusing. That's speaking to some pain points, but I need a little bit more about what are you gonna do for me, okay? So here you did this great. I scroll down and I see this exciting visual way that you're telling me exactly what you're doing. I'm not against putting the testimonial before that. That could go either way, but these 5 things, I would maybe put them right underneath here. In Israel at last, you need to make sure you got a design that makes it look fluid. And now you've done a much better job with your opt-in. It says monthly updates, insights about Aliyah and the Israeli financial world. Now I might be interested and excited about that. I also think this could be a little bit better and bigger, because if I make it to the bottom of your site, I don't care about, you don't care about me changing my money. You care about me contacting you. So I would take the contact form and duplicate it and throw it at the bottom of the page as well. And also, like I said before, I would make these much smaller. If someone wants to go to your Facebook page, let them, maybe put it all the way at the bottom of the footer, but you don't want this to be the thing on your footer that stands out, intensely. Okay, let's do one more for 30 seconds.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. That's great stuff.
I hope that was, I hope that was helpful.
Fantastic. I'm scribbling on now as you speak.
Great. Okay, why choose us? Personalized attention. So you hit number 1, excellent. You hit number 3, excellent. Personalized attention for what? Right? I have to go up here to your logo to see estate planning, Medicaid, and probate. The picture's not telling me that. The picture's telling me that you work with humans. Every business works with humans. I hope I'm not sounding like too critical. I'm trying to bring out the parts that are missing.
I love it. No, thanks. Bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on. Okay. So I love this. Ask us about home visits and evening appointments. But look where I got to find that. Okay. Now here also, the second part of your website is too boring. You pulled me in here. Give me a more graphical way of telling me more details about what you do, okay? The subpages, there we can get a lot more text heavy. If you're SEO focused, then definitely need more heavy. Look how beautiful this is. Here you have 6 inspiring images with a title with each one. Each one of these could even have a button or a sentence saying, what is elder law? You know, I think you spoke about that for a brief minute. What does that even mean, elder law? Give me a sentence and give me a button that says, let me learn more about elder law. Okay, I'm probably out of time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to stop sharing your screen. Firstly, a huge round of applause for Jonathan. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. That was brilliant. We don't have time for questions. I'm really sorry, guys. That was brilliant. I really encourage you to reach out to Jonathan, get in touch with him. He really, as he says, knows his stuff. He knows what he's doing. And that will be recorded as well and obviously shared on the website for the members. I'm now going to put you all into breakout rooms for 10 more minutes, and then I'll bring you out at 6. And then I'll explain how to join ESN for those people who are interested. So it's now 10 to 6, and I'll bring you out in 10 minutes. Let's do this.